What are we looking at today? Well, it's a Sony PVM. This one is, I like to think of it as the little brother of that other one that I showed recently. I can't even remember what it is. This one is a Sony, which is unsurprising given that all the PVMs are by Sony. This one has a few less features than the other one, I want to say, but I'm not too sure. So let's have a look at what's in the back. Now, well, I'm going to take this apart and we're going to have a look on the inside. One thing I noticed is that there's a bit of a gap around the bezel, which, can you see that down there? Is that going to, yeah. There's a bit of a gap and you can sort of see things. So I'm going to take it apart for that reason, and for this reason. This one has the bolt on the other side must have come loose. So I'll fix that up. That's easy, hopefully, if the bolt's still in there. This is the back of it. What have we got? What don't we have? Let's start at the bottom. Let's focus on that. There we go. So the model, let's start with the model. That's a good place to start. It's a PVM-9044QM. This one also came from the UK and actually got here in one piece, which is quite impressive. The seller decided to use a box around the bubble wrap. Surprise. We've got... Pop your batteries in. Gosh, they need a fair bit of juice. This is a set of high res on the front, HR. We've got 4x3 and 16x9, which you can't see. Whoop. There we go. It's got a nice kettle plug, which is nice and easy. Unlike the other one where I had to rewire, get rid of that big ugly UK plug with its fuse. I can't believe the fuse is actually in there. It's like the UK thought that there would be more... Wait, does the UK use circuit breakers? Do they have fuses in their normal house as well? Because that's just crazy. I love it. Here we've got all the inputs. RGB component. Red, green, blue. External sync over here. I need to get some of these BNC connectors. Pretty bad. We've got video in, video out, line A, line B. I don't really know much about this monitor at all, but we are going to take it apart because that's what I do when you just can't stop tinkering. Tinkling. Alright, so it looks like we've got 4 screws on either side. The other one had 3 on either side and a weird pop rivets, that's what they're called. Pop rivets on the back. Thankfully this one doesn't have the pop rivets, and I'm curious to see what sort of manufacturing year this is. I guess we'll find out very soon. I haven't actually taken this one apart yet. But yeah, the back looks like it's been hit by something pretty blunt. So it turns on. I still don't have anything to feed into it, which is a bit of a problem. Now what do you do? Yep, that one's gone. All the screws are the same type, which is nice. My screwdriver's still magnetized, so I'm going to utilize that. Whoa! Wow, that is dense. Warning, high vacuum picture tube is dangerous to handle. The picture tube in this receiver employs integral implosion protection and is critical to safety against X-radiation. Oh yeah, X-rays, X-radiation. Emission replaced with a tube of the same type for continued safety. Oh, that's nice. It's in German as well, just in case you were German. Alright. Gosh, that's a compact looking little thing. That actually looks quite nice. Okay, so I can see the metal at the back has bent and there's that board there, but it doesn't actually there's a bit of a gap there between the... Let's have a closer look. Where's the anode cap, you might say? There it is, down the side. Hiding away. Sneaky little anode cap. So what's different? Well, it's a lot more compact. Any busted looking caps? I hope not. This one should be a fair bit newer. Oh yeah, there we go. Good old April 1996. Wow. Would have been uploading my first website. No, wouldn't have been my first. Would have been maintaining my first website. So we've got electron gun. So of course, as always, I don't recommend you take yours apart and go poking around unless you've got a death wish. Where's the power going? So the power goes in the back here, which then feeds into... runs along there. I'm going to say the big high voltage thingies, capacitors, are in that one. The really big ones. Could be wrong. I'm not going to go looking for it though. Now, why is my bezel falling off? Is that... it's sometimes autofocus is amazing and sometimes I've got the wrong lens on and it's terrible. Which seems to happen more often than not. Well, that doesn't apply to me because I can't understand it. Ooh, what do we got on this side? More things. Marvellous. I love things. What capacitors are we using in here? Elna. I recognise that brand from Mega Drives. I want to say Mega Drives. So we've got some Elna on that side. What do we got on this side? Elna again? Okay. So Elna's not that bad, apparently. Jamicon. Have not heard of that brand. Wonder if they're still around. Of course, there's a couple of ways to find that out. Oh, what have we got on here? Oh gosh, that's some beautiful work there. I love. Look at the density on this thing. This thing, it's like I just crammed everything in there. Like, yeah, it'll fit. And the engineers said, no, it won't fit. Then they made it fit anyway. So that's a pretty nice looking board. There's some screws holding the bezel on, so I'll be able to take that off and have a dig around. So let's... So I've been screwing around. That's too good. Too good to waste that one. Yeah, I've managed to get the back plate off and now this bit flops around. Oh god. So the board's a little bit bent, but it's not too bad. These metal bits, they're separated down the middle, so I don't think it's them so much as this back plate, which was kind enough to give me some little metal shards in my index finger. So now there's, you know, when you get sort of oh yeah, it hurts. So we have a look at this, and you can sort of see it's slightly bent. Okay, it's quite bent. To get it that bent, you'd oh, that's sharp. Jeez, Sony. I've got to say, the capacitors in here though are pretty good looking. I saw some Nichicon's one in there. I'm not much of a fan of Nichicon. Much more prefer Rubicon, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, and it's not like I exactly was on a consulting team with the people who designed and manufactured these boards and the companies, the factories that put the capacitors in. So that's completely irrelevant. The bezel almost fits on the front. I have a feeling that this was either stacked sort of like that, and as a result these sort of got bent in, and then whether they did the same thing to the front. It sort of looks like the CRT tube has moved back a bit. Thankfully there's a fair bit of room down there. It's not too much happening. You can actually go in the battery bay and you can see your fingers under there, so that's safe. Especially when you go onto that board with the flyback, I want to say flyback thing. But, you know, not too bad. So hopefully I'll get it up and running very shortly. Just got to bend this back into shape, give it a bit of a clean. The amount of black dust in here is incredible. Not delicious, although I did wash my hands to try and get that metal shard out, and wow, the amount of black that came off, incredible. Yeah, so there's not too much here that we can see. Who is CAD? C-A-D. Is that something? Sounds like it could be something. Yeah, I'm going to say that's the power thing. Because... oh no, that runs down to the... oh, that's the power. So the power goes over there. So the big caps... oh, they're not that big. More Elna on that board. Oh, that board already had Elna. They're pretty big, 1000 UF, 50 volts. It's not as big as I thought it would be. But I guess if the thing can run off batteries... yeah, that's a good point. Alright, well, I'm going to get it back together. Thanks for watching. I hope you got some insight into... oh, loose cables, that's good. Some insight into the internals of the old PVM-9044QM. I think that's the model. I'm reading it from over here. I don't know if that's the right one, but it all seems pretty good. And in the future we'll have a comparison video between this one and the other one that I've got. And we'll have a look at how they look side by side. Hopefully I don't need a degaussing wand. And just when you think the video's about to end, it continues. Okay, so I was having a look, trying to work out if maybe it was just an alignment issue, you know, move the thing forward, jiggle it, move it forward a bit. And then I noticed a little inconsistency up here. Now I did notice that the bolts were in a little bit, but I have no baseline. I don't know what it's meant to look like. I don't know if it was meant to be angled. Obviously it's not meant to be angled like that. Now that I've seen the side, which you can't see because it's out of there, we go. That little squashed bit gave it away. So I'll loosen those bolts holding the CRT and hopefully it won't just fall out the front and land on the floor near the lamp, if I'm lucky. Actually, I probably just loosen the bolts, jam a screwdriver in there, and bend it out. That does explain the gap around the bezel. This was designed to be a portable TV, really. So it's probably been designed to take quite a few knocks. Unlike modern day computers, you drop them, they die. Same with phones. Nothing like the old days. Hey, I just noticed. Mectronics put their sticker on the side of my Hacko. Is it crooked? I think it might be slightly crooked. Anyway, if you're looking for a Hacko FX 888, they're the guys to go to. Digital, unfortunately, the analog ones aren't made anymore. But yeah, so there we go. So that's why the bezel wasn't lining up perfectly. So let's see if I can fix that. Ha 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 ha! Progress we make. As you can see, that is now flush. So it was the standoffs on... Oh, it's not really attached yet. I'm just checking to make sure that was okay, and it looks like it is. So it's these little guys. So all I did was bend these outward. So very easy repair task. The only problem is I had to pull the CRT out a little bit. And when you do that, you're gonna mess things up. So I had a look back and I thought, okay, electron tube. That board looks a bit crooked. Sure enough, because of this big flyback converter or whatever it is, we've accidentally knocked some of the pins out. So I was just making sure this bit lines up okay with the bezel, which it does, which is marvelous. And I've emailed the eBay seller to advise him not to ship anything overseas again. So hopefully the internals do work. I really need something. I need an RGB something or other. Or composite. I could use component? Was it component? Oh, I could use component. I need to find BNC connector. I'm just trying to think if I have any BNC connectors hanging around. Geez, is it the early 90s? And we're using BNC on Ethernet? No, I don't have any of those lying around. But I digress. So to get that back on, now that glue's there. Shite. Easy does it, bezel. You'll get to go back on soon. Let's get a bit of a closer look at that. So that bit of glue is to hold it in place, more or less, from what I understand. It's also so that you don't knock it and break things. I think that's what these, yeah, around this bit. Those are something to do with adjusting something. Generally, yeah, I don't like messing with CRTs. But this one's just so small and adorable. And I haven't gotten zapped once, which is quite impressive for me. So I'm going to tighten up these bolts on the front. So it's just a matter of putting the pliers in there and bending it this way. Yeah, it's still mangled a bit around the sides, but that doesn't really matter because I just want the bezel to fit on flush and it will just literally sit there. Almost where it is now, but a bit more over here. Put my little soldering iron on top of it. It's going to be perfect. You wait and see. Alright, we'll be back once we've tightened these things and we're adjusting the doobie whacker up the back. Alright, so this is a very delicate operation. So I've got all the bolts in as best I can. Unfortunately, I was stuck using needle nose pliers because of the angles that they're at. I don't have any spanners or wrenches or whatever would be appropriate. But that's fine. So we're trying to get this board back aligned and plugged in properly because we don't want any arcing with the CRT part, because that would be pretty high voltage and it would probably melt things. I don't know. You tell me. Alright, so I'm going to... I don't know what that thing is, but it doesn't look very good. So we're going to use a screwdriver handle. Stanley. Out of focus, never mind. Just sort of pop it in there. Sort of, yep, you in? You're in? Oh god. Did I loosen it on the other side now? I should use better glue. This is like rubber glue. Where's the center? There it is. Okay, there we go. I think that's good enough. That's interesting though, because it wasn't straight when I began either. Oh well, let's hope we've made the world a bit of a better place. Okay, so... I guess I should put it back together and fire it up. Of course, putting it back together is important because I don't want anything that explodes to hit me in the face. And I'll probably stand across the room after plugging it in for a minute. It's not that I don't trust my own work, but this is exactly the sort of thing I don't like to deal with. Heebie-jeebies. Scooby-Doo. Well, if it does catch on fire, I guess I'll be the first to know. Okay, so power, the physical power switch is off on the unit. Power cord's plugged in. I'm connecting the mains. No flames, that's good. No flames. You'll observe the lack of flames. So, press the button. I think that's a success. So, not forgetting what we originally did, we wanted to secure that, and it turns out the screw was just loose inside the machine. It had completely come unscrewed, which I don't even know how that's possible. Now, if you're really lucky, I'll go and start fiddling with a Mega Drive and try and get RGB out of it and poke some wires into this thing. But one thing it did used to do is if I toggle the 4x3 to 16x9, it would flicker. I think that was it. Didn't flicker though. Oh no, it was another button on the front. Let's have a look. What do we got? Was it the... Ah, all the things are down. Whoops. Ah yes, phase. Contrast and brightness need to be up. Why doesn't that one have a middle click? Volume can stay down. Oh yeah, there we go, the screen did something. There it is, underscan. That's right. It shows a little line at the top, which is very promising. Alright, so it's no worse off than it was, and it hasn't caught fire. I think we're doing well. Next step, find something that can output RGB.